right. Welcome back again, everybody. Now, this is probably going to be my personal favorite story to tell. I don't know why. It's not that it's the greatest story, but it's my favorite one because of my brush with greatness. So let's quickly finish off about, we were talking about extra work, right? And it really is fun to do if you're going in there for the sole purpose of, hey, I just want to be on a movie set, TV show, and just watch stuff. It's kind of fun. It's an exciting thing to do. But you don't make money at it. It takes all day, waste your time, and you're not going to get discovered. I don't want to say not, because right when I say that, a bunch of you will shoot me emails of famous celebrities who got discovered doing extra work. But the odds are strongly against you that you will get discovered doing this kind of sort of thing. But we talked about, or I talked to you about the movie Bye Bye Love with Paul Reiser, Randy Quaid, and Matthew Modine. Yeah, I was in it with them. Yeah, we all worked together. Anyways, you remember I had a huge bit outside of the fake McDonald's, and they kept yelling cut after I would like walk up to the door from the outside, thinking that, hey, you're ruining my scene. I got to get in the McDonald's. So that was that. My first extra gig, and I was quite disappointed. It's just amazing how tedious that work is, just to get those little things that seem random happening in the background. So now I want to talk about my favorite piece of work here that I like to call Opie Taylor, a bowl of Cheerios, a breakfast burrito, and my close-up. All right? Remember those things. Well, after that, extra work. Even though that wasn't a huge crowd thing, I was like, that's not what I want to do. I want to do something where they only need 10 people. So when I would call that Cenex casting line, if they would say this is for a group or a crowd or I need 50 guys, I just wouldn't even bother doing it. But then I called one of them, and he answered, and the guy said, hey, I need people of all ages to be in Apollo 13. Now, I had read that they were making this movie with Tom Hanks and Ron Howard about the Apollo 13, and I was very excited. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let's see. If they need a group of people, what would they need it for? So I'm not thinking of like crowds and things. I'm thinking like in the control room, right, at NASA. You've been one of those guys. Oh, that'd be cool. So I said, okay, I'll call this one. Now, this one was shooting in advance, not like the next day when I called. So the bonus was I could get the time off without having to, fake in calling in sick. So that was another plus. So I called the line. The guy answered name, said my name, and he goes, all right, good. Okay, listen to the message. Oh, and you have to go in for a wardrobe fitting at Universal tomorrow afternoon. And I was like, okay. And then he shifted me over to the automated message. So now I got a wardrobe fitting. I got to be a close-up in this now, right? I have to be a main person if they have to do a wardrobe fitting. So I'm all excited. I listen to the tape. I get the address. Funny thing is, though, once again, not shooting on a movie set. So I was like, I want to go on a studio lot and hang out. Well, they're filming at Los Alamitos Naval Reserve Base. Okay. And Los Alamitos is a little outside of Long Beach, California, down here. And it's a Naval Reserve Base where it's not even really functioning. It's just kind of a reserve. Like if they need to put some of the Navy guys there for whatever reason, probably during an active war, they hang out there. But other than that, it's literally this little building, a couple buildings, and then there's a golf course surrounding it. So it's not even like I'm not even on an official military base where I have to get a pass and all that stuff. We'll get to that part later on. Let's get to the wardrobe fitting. So now I get to go to Universal Studios, okay, to the back lot, to the actual studio lot, and to a place for wardrobe. So I drive down there after work again. Takes me not too bad. Since I was already in South Central Los Angeles, it was after work the next day I was able to go about an hour drive and get there. So it was not too shabby. So the big soundstage building I'm walking up to. And I walk inside, and there's like this little office inside of this huge soundstage facility. And they go, "Are you here for the wardrobe fitting?" I go, "Yeah." And they go, it's over. First go to that trailer over there. So I go to this trailer because I have to get my hair cut. Whoa, I'm getting a haircut, and I'm getting a costume, and I'm going to be in a movie with Ron Howard, and since Tom Hanks is my hero, he's going to think I'm funny because I'm going to be in the movie with him, and I'm going to get in the movie, and we're all excited. So, going to this trailer, there's all these people getting their haircut. And what's funny is that I keep forgetting that this is a period piece. Think about Apollo 13, 1970, is when it takes place, I believe. You're just not thinking that. You're like, that's Apollo 13. And you don't realize, wow, clothes are different, hair is different. Now, at this point, my hair was on its way to being somewhat normal. I had what my friends and I call a Q-tip head. So just picture a Q-tip with black, take a Q-tip, dip it in black ink, keep it all poofy, and that's about, that's the shape of my hair. Okay, Q-tip head. So that's what I had. So I didn't think it was going to be too bad. So I sat down. So they go, okay, sit over there, and I sit in a barber chair. And you've probably seen these little makeup trailers and documentaries on DVDs and stuff. It's exactly the same thing. Row of people, makeup people. But I tell the lady that's getting ready to come here, I go, well, here's how I kind of want my hair cut. Take a little bit off the top. And then she cuts me off, and she starts laughing. She goes, you're going to tell me how to cut your hair? You're getting your hair cut the way we need it cut, okay? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be a problem. I just was just telling you. She goes, well, and she just kind of smiled. And they all kind of laughed at me because I wasn't really being jerky about it. I just didn't know what. And they had all these pictures of guys from the 60s and 70s. And I was like, I don't even know what I am going to be. She goes, it doesn't matter. I go, yeah, but what if? She goes, doesn't matter. Your hair needs to be cut. So they just trimmed it. They didn't really do a whole lot to it. And I was thinking, I was scared because walking out of the trailer were guys that were getting crew cuts. So I was getting really nervous. I'm like, I can't just get a crew cut, and just show up to work the next day at my regular job, although it wouldn't be bad, having your hair cut short. I would just be made fun of. So I had that, my normal haircut. They said, okay, now go down to wardrobe. So I went to wardrobe, and now there's just a warehouse full of clothes, like totally organized, just a sea of clothes on hangers. And the guy says, okay, go look at your name on the list, and this is what you are. So it turns out I'm a reporter. So now I'm thinking, okay, I got wardrobe, a haircut. I'm going to be a reporter. So I'm going to yell at Tom Hanks to ask him a question. How did you feel about being on the Apollo 13? I'm just totally dreaming that that's going to happen. Well, I actually got a really cool outfit. I looked like my dad almost. It was kind of cool. I actually was wearing a really cool shirt that they found for me, short sleeve shirt that was like really a hip shirt. I wish I could find something like that now. And these cool slacks, and I got a badge that said NASA on it, and I was really excited. So that was all done, and they fitted me. And now I was going to go to, do the shoot the next week. So I had some downtime. So we'll now catch up now to the day of the shoot. I had to be there at, I think, 4:30 in the morning. So now I'm like, I have to be there at 4:30. It's going to be dark. What are they shooting at, during the dark, Well, here comes the big tent. All right. First key word in what I called the story, or one of the key words, was breakfast burrito. Okay, so on the Bye Bye Love movie set, we got really good food. Now, this movie on Apollo 13 was like 300 to 500 extras. So I show up, and they have just rows of trailers. And it says, get in the trailer, alphabetical, according to your last name. And I go into that trailer, tell them your last name, and they pull your clothes out. And you go in this little room, and you throw your clothes on. So I put on my little 1970s reporter's outfit, and I go to the tent, back to that tent again. But now this tent is literally like a Cirque du Soleil tent. There's seriously 350, 400 people in there with just folding chairs everywhere. And these big garbage cans. And I'm like, why are there so many garbage cans like lined up? I mean, we're not even doing anything, and they've got a lot of garbage cans. And I smell food. I smell food, and I see garbage cans. Did I miss breakfast? I mean, for goodness sakes, it's now 5 in the morning, and there's all these people there. I could not have missed breakfast. No, I didn't miss breakfast, because breakfast was sitting in the garbage can. They had these plastic garbage cans filled with wrapped up breakfast burritos. That was our breakfast from Ron Howard to us. So 20 garbage cans filled to the top with wrapped up breakfast burritos. You literally just walked up to the garbage can, pulled out a couple burritos, went over to a little coffee section, and that's what you had. I was like, this day's gonna suck horribly. So I had my breakfast burritos, which were okay. They were no McDonald's, I'll tell you that. And I had some coffee, burned my tongue, so I was upset about that, because, when you burn your tongue, it gets all rough, and you're just like, ugh, now everything tastes weird. I got to get out of this tent. So now the sun is starting to rise, and I walk out of the tent, hoping that nobody busts me, because they said for no reason should you leave the tent. They had porta potties right outside, and that was as far as you can go. So I said, I'm sneaking out of this tent and I want to check out what's going on. So now the sun's up. I walk out, and it's just this big, huge parking lot strip. A couple buildings like you're at a state park, and some flagpoles, and some bleachers with nobody in them, and a golf course. The bleachers are facing a golf course. And I see this guy and this girl walking. Now, the girl looks like she's one of the extras, because it looks like she's in a costume. This other guy is in a baseball cap, and he's walking, and he's eating a bowl of Cheerios, and he's walking towards me. Turns out that the woman is the actress. Once again, people, go on IMDb. I forget her name. I'm so sorry. First one to post her name on Facebook. You don't win a prize, but once again, it makes me feel good that I know you're the one who listened first. And she was the wife of Tom Hanks' character in Apollo 13. And I really like her a lot. She's a great actress, and I apologize. I just spacing out on her name. The other gentleman in the baseball cap and eating a bowl of Cheerios, yes, you're correct, was Ron Howard. I was very excited. Ron Howard just walks by real slow, and I hear him talking. I can't do a Ron Howard impersonation. He's like, that's good, it's big, it's doing stuff, I know he kind of talks that way. When Tom Hanks impersonates him, if you ever watch Letterman, and Tom Hanks is on Letterman, he always talks about doing Apollo 13 and the other movies he's done with Ron Howard. He does a funny impersonation, so my impersonation is Tom Hanks impersonating him. So anyways, I hear him talking, and he walks right past me. He's about like 2 feet away. Doesn't say hi to me. I don't expect him to. He's busy. But I thought that was kind of cool. It's like, that's neat. I got close to Opie. I'm a big Andy Griffith fan, big Ron Howard fan, and so that's a fun day. Wish I had a digital camera. Wish I had my phone with me where I could have taken a picture. That would have been fun to do and put on Facebook. But back then, no such thing as a digital camera for home use, anyways. So I went back in the tent. And I'm just sitting there going, I don't know how I'm going to get through this day. So they come in with a bullhorn and line us up and say, here's what's going on. You're all going to sit in the bleachers, and you're all witnessing the liftoff of the Apollo 13. So then I got excited, because they're going to do some special effects. There's going to be loud explosions, and I'm going to see smoke, and they're going to make it. It's going to be awesome. So they lead people out to the bleachers, and I get put at the very top in the very back of these bleachers, about 300 feet away from where the cameras are set up. Now, they have 3 cameras set up. They have a camera that's on a crane that's floating, kind of flying through the top of the crowd. They have another camera on a dolly. And then there's one more camera, I forgot where it's at, but there are 3. And I was just really bummed, because I'm like, here we go again. I am now back, just like before, What is the point? I mean, I have a costume and a haircut, for goodness sake, and you're never going to see me. So I go to the top of the bleachers, and the interesting part of the movie, this is like a little teeny bit of filmmaking that was fun for me. They had a big wooden pole with a tennis ball on it, and they had a guy standing out there behind the camera. And what he was doing was, he was the line of sight for the Apollo 13 taking off, because all of our eyes had to be on that tennis ball, even though I was a couple hundred feet away, and the people who were up close had to raise up their cameras. There's photographers there, so they all had to move up and follow the pole. The guy would raise it up. Now they had these huge speakers, and you hear Ron Howard talking. Now what's funny is Ron Howard is in an area that they call in the movie business Video Village. Okay, directors don't sit on the set underneath the camera with a big bullhorn yelling, "Okay, action!" and talking to the actors. They're in an area that's called Video Village, and it's where all of the what's called video assist cameras are. So these cameras are mounted on the big Panavision cameras, so the directors can actually see what's going on in the film. And they watch those monitors because they want to see what it's going to look like. They don't need to sit there and watch you act. They're watching right there. So in these speakers, you hear Ron Howard going, okay, everybody, here's what we're going to do. See, now, I want everybody to look at the ball on the stick, and Billy over there, he's going to raise the stick up. Everybody watch Billy. He's going to raise it up. And you follow him, okay? You're the camera. It's taking off. Big explosions. Lots of stuff going on. And it's totally funny because you hear him, but you can't see him. And while he's talking, you hear this, hey, Dad, can I go to the, shh, now, son, be quiet. We're going to film here in a second, okay? Shh, be quiet. So it's like his kids are in there with him. But in the Video Village, you have the director, the producers, and all the executives. They want to see how it's going. And there's usually like 10 people. And it's actually not on the set. It's like off to the corner somewhere. So anyways, we're sitting there, so that was kind of entertaining, just because it was like, hey, I'm listening to Ron Howard. It's kind of fun. Still, once again, though, I'm like bummed because this is what a waste of a day. So we do this watching of the rocket go up and the guy lifting the stick for like a half hour. Then they send us back to the tent. Now, this is now like 9 or 10 in the morning. For about a half hour of sitting there doing the shot, I was there for an hour and a half in the bleachers. Sent us back to the tent for like 2 hours. Then they brought us in lunch, and I forgot how the lunch worked. I don't think it was like lunch in a garbage can, but it was something close. Here's a thing that was really this is what made me my little just dose of reality, and kind of how sad it is for some of these people. While I was sitting there, a lot of people bring books, and they're sitting there reading and doing crossword puzzles, because you're there for hours before you do anything. But there were some people there that wanted to talk up what their next gig is. Oh yeah, I booked an episode of so-and-so tomorrow, and in 3 days I'm going to be on this movie. And they're just talking like, oh, they've got all this stuff lined up. It's the same kind of stuff. And what's really sad is that, like, that's their life. I mean, that's all they're doing, hoping. If you guys ever get a chance to watch Ricky Gervais's series from HBO called Extras, I highly recommend that, just because it's about the life of a movie extra who's like my age, and all he wants is one line. That's the goal of most extras, and I should say that's really why a lot of these guys, they're hoping that they will attract the director in some way to where he goes, you know what, that guy's got a good look. Bring him over here. I want you to say, excuse me, sir, give me that pencil. When they give you a line, that qualifies you to join the Screen Actors Guild. And actors that are not in the Screen Actors Guild, that's all they're shooting for, because agents won't take them on if they don't have their SAG card, is what we call it. So that really is the goal, is just to get your SAG card, to get that one line. So, but for the most part, that never happens as well. Anywho, I'm watching these people. I see one guy get up, he'd go to a payphone, because once again, this facility we were at was kind of like a public place. It wasn't a private naval base. It was a reserve place. And I see him go to the payphone, and then he comes back and he tells the girl he was sitting with, he goes, yep, I just called in, just booked another gig. Do it tomorrow, right after this one's done. And I'm just like, wow. That's just, because for me, I'm going back to the bank. I'm going to put on my shirt and tie and work in the loan office again. So I'm just sitting there thinking, oh, this is just ponderous. How do I get out of this? Well, they come back in again. It's now the afternoon. It's now like 3 o'clock. Another PA comes in and says, all right, I need 50 more people. Because what happened was when we broke for lunch, they didn't let everybody go. They kept some people in the bleachers. They took all the people that were far away that would probably be blurry in the shot. They took them out because they were doing close-up. So he goes, okay, I need all the reporters here. Reporters up front, up front, up front. So I'm up there, and there's like 40 of us that are all reporters. And there's one guy standing next to me. He's got glasses on. Looks like a clean-cut, pretty nice guy. He turns out to be a real jerk. We're standing in this crowd, and Ron Howard comes walking up. And he starts walking through the crowd of people, kind of just looking at us, like we're mannequins, kind of like, different guys. As he walks through, this jerky guy goes, ladies and gentlemen, Ron Howard, and starts clapping. Like very, just like a jerk. I can't describe it any better than that. It wasn't like he was sincere. And I'm like, oh my goodness, dude, shut up. So then Ron Howard says, okay, everybody, follow me. We're going to bring you over here. We're going to need the reporters up front. As we're walking, the guy starts whistling the Andy Griffith theme. That same jerk starts going. And I'm like, wow, as though you needed me to whistle that and you didn't know what the Andy Griffith theme was. But, I got some people that have no idea who Andy Griffith is, so I had to do that. But I'm like, really, guys, shut up. This is not going to get you anything special. Just be quiet. You're going to get us all in trouble, and they're going to kick us all off. Well, thankfully, Ron Howard's a nice guy, and he either ignored it or just plain didn't hear it. So now we're standing in this kind of a clumped group. And they grab me, and they put me behind a fake movie camera. Because, remember, we're filming the launch of the Apollo 13. So they have all these fake cameras. Now, there were like 4 rows of cameras. The front row that was in front of everything, that was all people with like cameras on tripods. Then you had a row of these fake movie cameras. And then there's like another row of random cameras. Well, they put me behind a camera that's behind a pole. So you can't even see me. So I'm like, oh, great. I get moved close to the front, and now I'm behind a pole, and you will never see me. So as I'm standing there, and Ron Howard's having the guys place everybody where he wants them, one of the production guys comes up and he looks at me along with another guy, and they're just kind of scratching their chins. He's like, do we need this guy? And they're like, no, let's get rid of him. I'm like, oh, you kidding me? Now you're getting rid of me? And I didn't say anything. I just kind of put my head down. I just was like, just let them drag me off and tell me where to go. So he goes, follow me. So I follow him, thinking I'm going to get let off the set and I'm going to go back to the tent. But instead, they take my camera and they put me in the center front row of all the cameras. I'm now the middle guy in the center of all of the action. So now I'm like, I am going to be in this movie. Why? Because they're doing what's called a dolly shot, a very slow dolly shot of the big camera going past all of the guys photographing the Apollo 13 very slowly, and I'm literally 5 feet from the lens of the camera when it passes by, right? Close up of Larry. So now I'm very excited. Very excited. So the next thing that happens is Ron Howard describes what's going to happen again. We're going to call the launch. Everybody needs to move their cameras up. Now, here's the little thing I noticed when we were practicing. If I'm behind this camera taking pictures, you can't see me, right? Because I'm going to be behind this camera. How do I get in the shot? So I figured what I would do is, as I raise the camera up, when the movie camera gets near me, I'm going to move my head to the side and look up in amazement, like, wow. That way, when the camera comes by me, my face is now moved out from my camera, and I made this big, awe-inspiring look of excitement on my face that will surely give Ron Howard an idea to give me a line. So they shoot it like a bunch of times, and with different cameras, the crane camera flying over us, the close-up. And it was totally a lot of fun because Ron Howard never saw him, heard his voice, and we were cracking up. He was really funny. And that was it. They sent me back to the tent. Good work, I was thinking. I'm in the movie. Woo! All that, just for that close-up, totally excited about it. So I get home in the afternoon, actually. It wasn't one of those get home at 9 o'clock at night. And I called some of my buddies. I said, guess what? I'm totally going to be in Apollo 13. I'm in the shot when the rocket takes off. The camera's right on my face, and I turn and I look up at the rocket, and I make this awesome face. I'm totally in it. That's great, dude. Can't wait to see you. So we flash forward now. Wow. 9 months later. Okay. It's the following summer. I think whenever the movie got released. And it's funny. I didn't realize this was going to be that I had told so many people about this. So I go to the movie on opening night with a couple of buddies, and line's pretty long, and we're outside waiting to get in, and it's wrapped around the corner. And as I do that, or as I'm standing there, some friends I know walk by. They go, "Hey Larry, are you seeing Apollo 13?" I go, "Yeah." And they go, "You're in that movie, right?" And I was like, "No, not really." And then my buddy goes, "Yeah, he's in the movie." I go, "I'm not in the movie." So now it looks like I'm trying to be modest, that I'm like a star. And then people in the line go, "Is he in the movie? Are you in the movie?" "He's in the movie. I think he's in the movie. They're saying he's in the movie." And I'm just saying, I'm not in the movie. I'm just joking. I'm not in the movie. This happens like one more time in the line. Somebody else walks by that I know. It's like, when does this ever happen where I see like 3 or 4 people while I'm in line at a movie, like on a Thursday night? I think it was opening night, so yeah, there's probably a lot of people there. But it's not like I'm in a little small town. I'm in a big suburbia town, where there's a lot of choice of movie theaters to go to. That's just the weirdest thing. So now we're in the movie theater. Get good seats. I'm sitting in the middle. My roommate and his girlfriend come walking by the front row of the movie theater. And he sees me all the way in the middle aisle. And he goes, "Hey, Larry, you're in this movie, right? You are in the movie." And I go, "I'm not in the movie." And now I'm yelling across the movie theater, "I'm not in the movie." And everybody goes, "He's in the movie." "Oh, yeah, he's in the movie. I heard him in line outside. He's in the movie." And I'm like, oh, my goodness, this is becoming a nightmare. And I'm like, "I'm not in the movie." And they're all, "You're going to be in the movie. You're just joking with us." I'm like, "Okay, you're right. I'm actually Tom Hanks. I'm Tom Hanks, everybody. Tom Hanks." So, movie starts. Everything's going fine. It's getting close to the launch date scene. I am getting a little nervous, I must say. I'm getting a little sweaty. I can feel the sweat dripping down. And it gets to the scene. Very excited. They show a quick flash of them getting ready to launch. And they show the crowd. So there's an establishing shot, but you just really see the bleachers. Split second of the bleachers. Okay. I'm like, all right, they're just setting it up. And then it shows the astronauts. Close up of them in the elevator going up to the rocket. I'm like, okay, we're getting ready. I'm like, totally sweating bullets. Here comes the crane shot. So they start the crane at the one end, and it starts to roll down. It hits one of the guys on the end. That's it. Done. No more. Literally, like, not even 2 seconds. About a second. And that was it. And when I mean that was it, I mean there was nothing, no reference to that scene the rest of the movie. That whole day for about 3 seconds of quick shots. And I was beside myself again. I was like almost in tears. I put my head down. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And now, of course, all the people that thought I was in the movie, they didn't know if I was in the movie. I didn't tell them if I was in it or where I would be. So the movie was over. And what was funny is there were a couple people like, I thought I saw you in that movie, man. You were funny. And I was like, what did he think I was in? I mean, I wasn't. I was like, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I wasn't lying to him. It was fun. So I was very bummed about that. And to this day, I believe there is a director's cut. And to this day, I have not rented it. I have a fantasy that if I rent the director's cut, that whole shot will be put back in. And I'll get to see me. But alas, I was not in it. And that is the story of Apollo 13. It was a lot of fun. I went over our show today by about, another 15 minutes. So I'm sorry. I hope this doesn't throw off your schedule for the day. But thanks for listening. Extra work is fun, but not always. It can be. If you guys live in L.A., it's actually something fun to do if you've got some time off. Because you decide when you want to work. I mean, as long as you're right for the role, you just work when you want to work. And that's kind of fun. So what not to do? Let's just do this. Let's go back for a second. I haven't really ever been saying what not to do. So let's talk about the extra work. Okay? Don't get into extra work thinking you're going to get into showbiz. Don't do extra work to make money. And when you do extra work, be kind and polite and do everything they tell you, and don't be a smarty mouth like Mr. Jerky Pants welcoming Ron Howard to the set. That's it, everybody. Have yourself a great time until we see you again for more great times. Just makes no sense at all. We'll see you. Take care. Bye-bye.